when it comes to exercise, when it comes to just feeling better, being better, what's that one thing for like the everyday guy that's
Probably
out there?
get a little more time by not listening to the podcast.
Yeah. He's in his truck.
You're going to get an hour and a half right there. So go ahead. Thanks, Matt. Finally, Matt, I'm actually excited today.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't necessarily have to talk. Well, no, normally I'm pretty reluctant to do this.
That you are.
I don't want to see you excited.
No, well, not that excited.
Okay.
But anyway, usually they make me talk about wrestling all the whole time, and after all these years, I get tired of it. But I want. We met. When did we meet? We met in 2015.
Yeah, 14, 15 is the first time that I got to train with you, and you're a monster.
Well, maybe back then still had a few monster qualities
you still got
left.
it.
Hold on, you trained with Tim?
Well, so I was training.
Yes.
I was training.
He's going to try to. Yes, he did, and
Yes.
he killed it.
I was training for WrestleMania, and it was going to be in Dallas that year. The year I wrestled Shane in the cage, right? And Shane's a lunatic and can't, he's dangerous.
Okay.
Not dangerous in the sense of Tim's dangerous, but he's just dangerous because he's
A spaz.
He's a spaz.
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it. So I changed up my whole regimen. I went out. I said, man, I need to get away. I need to do something different. So I go out to On It Gym, and that's where we end up meeting.
Yep.
And so I'm testing a new trainer, new principles, new everything, and then Tim comes in with one of the Steiner boys.
Yep, Shane.
Shane, that's right, Shane. And there was who's the other? There was three of them most of the time. I know
Juan, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've traveled with a pretty hefty posse of professional athletes.
Yes, and so kind of started out. I'm there, and I'm like, well, that's Tim Kennedy over there, right? So we end up.
Oh my God, that's the Undertaker.
Yeah. So we end up meeting, and not to like put you on the spot, but I like being around alphas who don't have to let you know they're an alpha.
Yeah.
Like just a cordial human being, friendly. I mean, to sit there and to talk to Tim, you wouldn't think that he's done the things that he's done and
Is a rough
more and in fighting and everything like that. It's cool because there's some people that act like dicks and they really try to let you know that they're an alpha. Anyway, that all being said,
Everything that we did in that room got written on this giant chalkboard. So like if it was a time to perform 1,000 meters on a row or 100 pull-ups with 100 burpees, whatever like the modality was, whatever the series of exercise, you would walk up to the chalkboard and you would write your performance. Everybody can see it. Everybody's like no repping you. Like there's no, he's 100% right. There was no like ego or alpha thing, but there was a standard that was like, you are going to perform at your best possible output, period. And if you're a dick, you're not going to be invited back. Because at that point, it was almost invitation only to be in that gym.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it definitely was.
And it was wild.
And it also, I feel like in that situation, you don't want to be the guy that's bottom of the totem pole either.
Definitely not.
No. Because it is a room full of alpha males that still have egos, that all that stuff. You may not in an ego in a different sense. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, people don't talk about this enough. There is good ego.
Yes.
And ego is like, I hated that he lifted more than me. Like I hate that, I'm 14 years younger than him, and like I bet he can still lift more than me. And like that would anger me, or that Juan or Shane or Aaron were able to do anything faster than me, and that is a really, really good thing.
That is a good thing.
And I think we're living in an era where that's been demonized, and that's it's been separated as a bad characteristic of unhealthy masculinity. It's just not true. Like those are things that should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
And
I totally 100%
and we would write
agree.
our time on the wall, and that shame or embarrassment about a performance in a set would eat me all week long because I knew I could have done better. And I'd think about it all week. It's the best.
It makes you a better person. Makes
It
you a
does
better
make
man.
you a better person. And then especially too, once you've achieved, you've achieved things. You've been a professional fighter, and I was a professional wrestler for all these years. there's a chance, and that I could rest on my laurels, or I could, but I don't think that's why you become a champion, or that's why you become great at something, because you have that mentality. It's like, he did 3 more push-ups, and he did 3 more. That son of a, and that was really good for me, because I'm in a room full of guys that are just hungry.
Yeah, I was on a title run at that point in my career. I was looking at beating Michael Bisping, Robbie Lawler. Like, I'm on a win streak. Politics in the UFC and Strike Force. Not only do you have to have consecutive wins, but more important, you have to be putting on performances. There's a little bit of showmanship that plays into it. So I'm on a title run, and so you have also that tangible energy of he's getting ready for a big event. Millions of people are going to be watching him. I'm getting ready to fight for a world title, and it's palatable hunger to not prove to anybody else in there, but to prove to you that you are the fastest and the strongest, best version of yourself that will ever be.
Yeah.
Period.
And you're right. And I think this day and age, that is getting demonized.
Yeah.
And,
we desperately need it.
It is so desperately needed. I hate seeing on the internet, kids in recess in 1950 where they're doing pull-ups and push-ups and doing all that,
smoking cigarettes and shooting rifles.
But it's just
just
the standard of physical, of physical strength then compared to where we're at now.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have great athletes now, but I mean, as a standard, it's just, you're right. It's scary. You're demonized for having that desire to be the best at something, and I think I don't hear that said enough. People are always like, you need a trophy. You got to get, it's just like,
here, just show up.
Show up.
Dude, my son, try to hand my 9-year-old a participant. Well, he's never actually seen a participation trophy because he wins, but.
Yes, I love it.
He does. But I swear, if you tried to hand him something that he didn't earn, he'd literally leave it on the table. He wouldn't be disrespectful. I don't want that.
He'd walk away from it.
But he'd walk away from it. He wouldn't take it. He's like, I want nothing to do with that thing.
That's good for him.
9.
That's good parenting.
Yeah.
That's good parenting. I have to say that. I think the first time, and we're bringing up a bad memory. I think the first time I ever saw you, I think you fought Romero.
That's right.
Gosh dang it.
Yep.
You got hosed.
Yeah.
I've gone back and I've watched it. I don't believe he made it out of the how he got out of the round, because you were thumping him pretty good. Do you know that? I don't know if you.
That was in the second round, wasn't there? Something.
It was UFC 178.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was in the second round.
Yeah, it was the last second of the second round when. So the rule as it stands, if the ref touches, so John came in to stop me,
right?
But he touched me after the bell.
Right.
So that is the definition of being saved by the bell. If he was unconscious and lying on the ground, he's still saved by the bell. So the ref has to stop the person that is doing the beating before the bell sounds for that to be a W, for me to get the win. So his hands actually, it was like bing, and he touched me. So we got saved by the bell. And then the Athletic Commission for Nevada, the rules are very explicitly clear. At 1 minute, you answer. At 50 seconds, get out of the ring.
You get off the
At
stool.
1 minute, you get off the stool and you start fighting. You have 10 seconds to engage, or it's a disqualification.
Right.
That's the way the rules read. So obviously, 50 seconds when the seconds, the cornermen, they didn't leave until 1:05. He didn't get off the stool until 1:30. So were multiple violations of the Athletic Commission rules. But it was also the perfect storm of, I'm going to take extreme ownership here. I should have just stayed in destroy murder mode.
Yeah, well, man,
that was a error on my part.
But he ended up getting what? He ended up an extra 35, 40 seconds.
Yeah. It's an
of
eternity when you're hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. I was pissed. That was a stellar card too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stacked.
It was a great card.
It was a great card. I mean,
and that was the fight I go to fight Michael Bisping, who had just knocked out Luke Rockhold to become the champion. His last loss was to me, where I just mopped the mats with him for 25 minutes. So like the current middleweight UFC champion's last loss is to me, in which I destroyed him. And he and I had like the really great rivalry.
Right.
He and I have never gotten along well. And like that Yoel Romero fight was the title contendership elimination. So that
you were on a win. You had
Yeah.
3-4 wins in a row.
Yeah, big ones.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. But, as an MMA fan and enjoy why, I was just like, man, I just had to sympathize with you a little bit because I felt like you got hosed on that deal.
got done dirty. It's all right.
You want to bring up Brock Lesnar and him beating, Undertaker now? Or?
So it broke the streak. It broke a lot of things. Broke my spirit for a while. But anyway, yeah. I don't remember it, so I got concussed and don't remember it. So
Did you have any fights like that? Because he got concussed during Brock and doesn't remember the match at all. Did you experience any of that?
No, man, I there's something wrong with me, for sure.
We know that. Yeah, we understand that.
you wouldn't be here if there wasn't something wrong with you.
Man, I've never broke anything. I've never I've been TKO'd where like the ref pulled me off. I'm sure I've been concussed.
Yeah.
But there's never I've never been knocked out in training in a fight. I've never been like the Yoel Romero TKO. That is not intelligently defending myself. When John pulled him off in the 3rd round, I got pieced up, clipped super clean, went face first. I'm trying to sit out and he's landing strikes and I'm not defending. It's a perfect stoppage. John did. The only thing he did right in that fight was stop that fight at the correct moment, which is when I wasn't defending myself correctly. And, but like if you see our interaction in the locker room 90 seconds later, where Yoel comes up and he's trying to apologize, he's in perfect English, by the way, where he's like, I'm so sorry. Cause he said there was a translation communication problem between John and him.
English.
Yeah. Perfect. Tim, I'm so sorry. I was like, trying to get things together and I didn't realize the bell had sounded. And I was like, shut up. Like, exactly the rules and you cheated like you always cheat. And we knew it was going to happen, but my brain was still fine, after that embarrassing loss. So no, not really. I guess getting blown up, I got my bell rung pretty good in Afghanistan, a few times. So that sucks. But yeah, never fighting.
Yeah. I got concussed. My last memory of the day was at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I never lost consciousness.
Yeah. Those are the worst.
But I lost memory from like the last thing I remember of that day was having a discussion with my wife backstage. Whoa. She came back to see me. And then the next thing that I remember, I'm in the hospital and they're asking me every 5 minutes, like, what's your name? When were you born? Yeah. Where are you? And I have no clue. It was crazy because I knew who she was. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And I'm it got to the point where I'm like, they would leave and I would say, hey, babe, come here. What's my name? Yeah. She's like, I can't cheat for you.
Yeah.
But I was clueless and I said, I got to wrestle. I got to go wrestle. She goes, you already did. It's all over. And crazy thing about that too. So we're several years into doing the impact testing and all the concussion protocols. So obviously that worried me, like, because I don't know how many concussions that I had before we had medical treatment.
Because you guys went hard in the paint.
Yeah,
especially in the early days.
Yeah, in the early days, we didn't have trainers, we didn't have everything. I mean, we were just left to our own. If you walk, you go to the ring, kind of a deal. And it kind of shook me up a little bit, just because of how it all worked out. So, the head of our medical, his name is Dr. Joseph Maroon, which is one of the top. He's one of the guys that worked on the impact testing. Mm-hmm. So I fly up to Pittsburgh, and they give me the impact test again. And then another doctor comes in, and I'm thinking, what do I got CTE? What's going on here? And then they gave me like a written version of it. And crazy enough, after suffering that concussion, my score
Goes up.
It was better than my baseline score that I had done in 2001.
Yeah.
And I mean, and he goes, if it happens again, I'd probably suggest that maybe you quit. He goes, but I can't, there's nothing here that tells me that I can, tell you that you shouldn't be in the ring again.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
just think about what your baseline condition was for that to be your baseline.
Exactly.
You're messed up, man.
Yeah. And after that, once we started with Concussion Protocol and all that, then we couldn't hit each other with chairs in the head anymore and all that stuff. And everybody think, oh, wrestling is this and wrestling is that, but chair shots were chair shots.
Yeah.
And
gravity's not fake.
Yeah, I took a lot of them. It was just like that old school mentality of like, if you're gonna swing a chair, don't make it look like shit. And it was just like a kind of our badge of honor amongst what we did. And I couldn't tell you. There's no telling how many concussions that I probably that I had.
And those little ones are the worst.
Yeah.
Like stacked multiple little like micro concussions over time.
Yeah.
That's where like the football pads, the might have been the worst thing compared to like rugby players, lacrosse players. Those pads are getting micro concussions over these long periods of time, and lots of them.
Right.
Where they're not losing memory, they're not blacking out, they're not throwing up, but they're getting lots of them, and that damage over time with the brain, as we're finding out, is worse than like these big traumatic moments.
Right.
It's like they're both so dangerous.
Yeah.
The brain is something that is fragile and should be protected.
It should be protected. And it was like at first, like old school guys, we were just like, man.
But look what you created.
We're getting soft and you try to fight it. And I remember I still, even after they banned the chair shots. So I'm wrestling Triple H, and we're figuring like, well, I'm the most tenured guy here. You're his son-in-law. Surely we can get away with it.
Yeah.
He fined our ass too. I remember getting my check. For WrestleMania, and there was that big minus on there, and I was like, son of a. And I called him up right away. I said, did you get fined? And he was like, yeah, I got fined too. And I was like, what the hell good is it to be his son-in-law or his most tenured guy? And you still can't, but he had to set an example, right? And that's what he did. But man, that was a little bit.
The UFC does a pretty good job though, if guys get knocked out and stuff. Isn't there like a time period that you have to like not fight or something like that?
You're trying to fire me up? You're trying to get me going here? So
that's what he does.
Yeah, that exclusively for the benefit of them being able to use that athlete more in the future. That has nothing to do with that athlete's brain health.
Really?
Yeah. No, like there's no concussion protocols. They're like, okay, so, and that's not the UFC doing it, that's the athletic commission doing it. So you're not going to be cleared to fight. Like I was supposed to fight Lyoto Machida at Madison Square Gardens. Like he wasn't cleared. Like the neuro wouldn't allow him to fight. Like that had nothing to do with the UFC.
Okay.
And the UFC's job is to make a profit. That's Dana's job. He's a businessman, and I'm not disparaging him. I think he's a great businessman. I love what he's done with that sport. But the athletic commission is the one that's supposed to be protecting the athletes. And the day that you retire, like the neurologist that you're going to go talk to and make sure that like you're healthy. Nope, that doesn't happen. Like the concussion protocols that are taking place during your fight camp. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no. Those don't exist. Like what are you talking about exactly?
Oh my God.
No, they don't exist. The day that you're done, you're done. Like good luck, enjoy TBI and CTE for the rest of your life. Hopefully you don't abuse your wife and or hit one of your kids like as a byproduct of not having your frontal lobe be fully healthy. No, they give nothing. Pack your bags, no retirement. Good luck. There you go.
Puts everything in perspective, right? That's why,
Yeah. And fighters are not exactly the best with their money. So, like a lot of guys.
Nor wrestlers, so it kind of goes hand in hand.
There's a part of them that they want to stay hungry. If they get successful and they're wealthy and they're living the life, like it's hard to have that itch in them.
Was that Hagler?
I have that discussion a lot because I use Connor. as a prime example. When he fought, I mean, he was already big, but when he fought Floyd in the boxing match and made $100 million or whatever it was that he made.
That's the end of the fighter.
He's done. What drives you if you can go get on your Maserati yacht and, you know, be catered to? And
was it Marvin Hagler that said it's hard to get out of these silk sheets to go run?
Yeah, it was Marvin Hagler.
In 3-degree temperatures or whatever.
If you don't have that thing inside of you that, like you said, that makes you want to be the best and go out and prove that you're the best. Like, I don't know that you give me $100 million overnight, I'm going to be fat and happy. I think. I don't know.
But I mean, you two though, that's not the case for y'all. You both had success. You both financially made money. You both had all these things, popularity and all that stuff, but you still woke up every single day. You still wake up every single day with that same drive. What makes you different than me, who all I want to do is sleep till 10 o'clock and eat barbecue and smoke cigars and float in my pool?
Matt.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get bigger muscles. First form's supposed to give you bigger muscles.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to take the first form and then you go to the gym and you use weights. You're not doing that right.
Well, I mean, this is almost 2.5 pounds worth of protein in here. I figured this would.
I understand it's 2.5 pounds of protein, but although that may be the weights that you use, you need to consume what's inside.
Well, does this help you pick up bigger things?
Huh?
Does this help
you
pick
it does.
up bigger weights and everything?
It will. Yet you have to ingest it first.
Okay, so this is what I was doing is not going to give me bigger shoulders.
It is not going to give.
If I could do like lat raises with it,
it's not going to help you. That's not going to help you one bit.
So I've got to ingest it, though. Sure.
Yes, and it tastes really good.
Yeah,
and I know how you like to eat, so just imagine you're drinking a big old slice of red velvet cake right there, and
I could eat red velvet cake and
no.
get bigger muscles.
That's red velvet cake flavored protein.
I can't actually eat red velvet cake.
No. Man. Well, you can.
But I'm not going to get.
But you're not. Your shoulders aren't going to get any bigger by eating red velvet cake.
All right. So what you're saying is I should probably go to First Form, get myself some protein powder.
Get you some protein. And it doesn't have to be red velvet. They have many flavors.
Many flavors. Okay. And
I think before you even need to do that, you probably should go get a membership at a gym.
Well, I've got a membership. So now I just got to get First Form.
Okay, so good. You've got that.
Got the first step done.
Do you remember where it's at?
I do know where it's at. It's right beside my work.
Okay.
All right.
Get you some First Form.
Go there.
Take
lift
it.
Weights.
Go lift weights.
Will do. Thanks, Mark.
Anytime.
I told my wife, we're never going to have to worry about money.
Yeah.
Money has never been the motivation, and I'll argue that I in it to a degree, resent money. I've never cared about it. You know, like chief of staff, COO sitting right over there. I've never looked at books for any other reason besides making sure that we're leveraging them to do good. So the intrinsic motivation for me has never been like, hey, I want to be rich or I want to be famous or, you know, like I have never cared about any of that stuff. I have always had this core mission. It's the reason that God put me on this planet, and I've been trying to fulfill that my whole entire life. And that is going to go to the day that I die. And it has nothing to do with how much money I have in the bank account, how many businesses I have, how many world championships I had. None of that has ever mattered. It's only about like, am I doing the thing that I was created to do? That's it. And it's intrinsic and it's hardwired in my DNA, and I'm going to do that until I die.
And that's what drives you every day.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because you do a lot of stuff now that you don't have to do.
Yeah. I don't have to do anything again.
No. I'm saying, yeah. But I mean, some of the stuff that you've done recently, like going to you went to Afghanistan after the screwed up.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to do that.
Nope.
I mean, that's a different human being. I
That's the
sleep
right
better
thing
at
to
night knowing that there's people like you in the world that think that way.
Yeah.
And Matt will tell you, I didn't serve, but man,
You do a lot of good.
Well, I try. I try to do good with what I have, but I mean, I just thank God there's people like you and people that I'm just trying to think of some of the high-profile military people that I know, Luttrell and those guys. I'm just
There's
people
a lot
that
of
they
them.
have no idea. I don't think our society realizes. When we were talking a little bit before we started taping, of what it means to be able to go on these campuses and protest and do all that that they do and be disrespectful. But that doesn't happen without people like you that go and fight and give them that right.
I embody everything that they resent and hate, and they disparage me at every opportunity. But their ability to say all of the things that they say in the way that they do it, they are missing a portion of that First Amendment where it says for the people to peaceably protest. To peaceably is the operative word of that, but that's neither here nor there. Discussion for another day. But their ability to protest is provided and afforded to them by the Morgan Luttrells and the Marcus Luttrells and the Matt Bests and the Evan Hafers, the Edwin Parnells and the Logan Starks and the Dakota Myers, and like the list goes. There are so right here in Austin, there are so many extraordinary service members that have sacrificed so much so that those little idiots can go and burn the American flag.
It's just,
and good for them.
yeah, good for
Exercise away.
And that's where it's tough, right? Like,
Is it?
well, no, what's tough is where,
I like it.
I didn't serve the way that you served in the military, but I did have the, fortunate enough to serve the United States Army. But I look at that and I go, man, I'm glad that they have the right to do it, but it also makes me just want to go, I don't know.
shake somebody. Get those big, massive shoulders
Or
of
get
yours and just
someone
shake.
else like Tim to go shake them for me, but it's like it's frustrating because I want them to have the right to do it, but it just kind of it pisses me off.
I hate that they're the Marxist, socialist, communist fight that they're trying to fight for. They don't understand that the mechanism in which they're fighting for it is provided to them by this beautiful constitutional republic that we have. But maybe this is back to ego, a bad thing. I find it so satisfying to see that purple-haired, mask-wearing girl sitting on those stairs, spelling Palestine incorrectly on the steps of Columbia. She goes to an Ivy League university that she paid $100,000 to get her degree in, and she can't. She's at a pro-Palestine march, and she can't spell Palestine. It just tickles me, and I find it like so satisfying.
You just sometimes just go look at the TV. You're welcome.
That's it.
You're
It's
welcome.
like,
Just
oh man,
bless your heart.
Yeah, that's it. The Southern thing, like bless your heart.
Bless
man.
your heart.
God bless you,
man.
Am I wrong there? Is
No,
that
you
evil?
are absolutely.
No, I don't think that's evil.
You are
And
absolutely
you've earned the
100%.
right to have that feeling, deep down.
It's like she waddles up there, it's so good.
It's commendable that you can think that way because I don't know that. I don't know, knowing myself, that I would have that kind of. I think I would be angry.
Yeah.
And you tend to be or seem to be like a genuinely happy person.
Yeah,
Even
keel,
keel.
nice guy.
And I would like.
Well, there's two
I
parts.
put my life on the line so you can dye your hair some ridiculous color, and then go and. I don't think I would be as eloquent as you. I'm just
My dad would always say, consider the source. So if Carl sitting over there, if he came to me and it's like, hey, Tim, I'm disappointed in this, and he brings it to me, like, I have to take that with a serious degree of gravitas because like I have profound respect for him. Like a little pudgy, plump, purple-haired, mask-wearing with a scarf wrapped around her head that she bought off of Amazon that was made in China, and
it's not authentic. It ain't authentic.
and she's gonna come up and like sling some hate at me. I'm like, I just want to hug you. You're just so cute. Like you're so misguided and idiotic. I'm just gonna have to go buy you a cup of coffee or like whatever you drink, the matcha chai healing crystal thing that you have. It's fine.
I'll have black coffee.
Yeah. One. And then the second part is like, I'm not in charge of her. I'm in charge of me. And, you can choose to be happy. You can choose to be mad. You can choose the outlet in which you're going to express the emotions that you have. And so like, I have a lot of friends that are struggling right now, post-war, post-GWAT. And I'm not saying it's as simple as like choosing, because I think it's millions of little decisions that enable you to have that choice of like, I'm going to choose to be happy today. Yeah, man, I had a great cup of coffee. Like I got to get weird with my wife. I had a badass workout. I wrote little notes to my kids in their lunchbox today that says little secret notes that they're going to figure out and understand. And I'm freaking happy.
That's a gift. That's a gift to have that outlook. Yeah. I mean, you'll live to be 100 and be happy every day.
But that's intentional though, because I mean, you don't wake up every single day thinking this is the greatest day ever. You have bad days. Everyone does, right?
Right.
It's being intentional about saying, today sucks. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to go get the workout in. It might not be the greatest workout that I've ever had. I'm going to write that note to my kid. Yeah. It might not be the most intellectual thing that I've ever written, but I'm still going to write it and they're going to appreciate it.
I'm so like psychopath intentionally disciplined about, so like if I'm having a bad day, I'm not only is it going to be the best workout possible, it's going to be the hardest workout. You're like, it's not going to be the best workout. It's going to be. I will look and be like, man, I'm not feeling it today. And I will walk up to that board and I will put together the most diabolical, evil thing I can possibly do. Like if I'm having a rough day and my training partners and they're like, oh no.
Oh no. Tim's in a bad mood.
Because that's how I'm going to fight it. Like that, it's literally the intentionality of like, okay, like I can choose to like just roll with it. Okay, I'm just going to go do some cardio. No. I'm going to find that quitter. I'll put a name to that quitter. I'm going to look at that quitter in the face. I'm going to drag it to the deepest depths of the ocean. I'm going to drown it there. I'm going to watch it slowly suck in that last bit of water into its lungs and it starts aspirating. And yes, I'm going to do that with intentionality. Insert a million other decisions. Of like, okay, I'm going to eat clean today. I'm going to get in the ice bath today. Like, I'm going to make sure I tell my wife that I love her. I'll make sure I'm intentionally kind to my kids. Like every single one of those little tiny things contributes and creates this arc of like unstoppable positivity that I can do more good.
Let me ask you this. You've got a lot of folks on social media right now that will, I tell them I say it all the time. It's the guys that, no offense to Taker, but they got the sleeved tattoos. They've got the beard. They've got all that stuff. And they go, I wake up at 4:00 in the morning and I, send 3 gratitude text messages. And I'm sitting there thinking, my dad used to work 3 jobs and he had about 2 hours worth of opportunity to sleep every single night. And if for the guy that's sitting there right now listening to this podcast and he's like, I've got a family of 4, I'm working 2 jobs. What's the one thing that you would suggest that he should do every day just to make, like, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to just feeling better, being better? What's that one thing for like the everyday guy that's
probably
out there?
Get a little more time by not listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
He's in his truck. You're going to get an hour and a half right there. So go ahead. Thanks, Matt. But
yeah, we're in this era where there's like this optimization. Like, okay, I'm gonna cold plunge 3 minutes a day. Like I'm gonna be eating like the carnivore diet. Like, just be a badass. I know it's not that simple, but like you don't have to have the perfect protocol. You don't have to have like the perfect thing. You don't have to have like this system or process that's enabling you to do these things. Like, I think intrinsically, first, have the motivation to want to do the right thing. Is that being a good husband, being a good father, being a good employer, being a good employee, being a good human? Like if the core of you is good, then the fruits are going to be good. So I think that the one thing I'd say is like, make sure the fruit is like, make sure that the ground, the soil in which we're trying to cultivate this tree, like, it has to have the right water and the right nutrients, like, so we can ultimately have good fruit. But like, if the tree's rotten, you're never going to have good fruit. Yeah. So like, be a good person. Why are you trying to do all of these things? Is it like people think that you're cooler so you can show on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, like I'm in the cold plunge every day? Or it's like, I'm doing that because I'm trying to be a good parent. I'm trying to be a good husband. I'm trying to provide. I'm trying to protect. I'm trying to sick, man. Do that. Have the core
Yeah.
be good.
And that doesn't cost
Anything.
That doesn't cost anything.
And I think that looks different for everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not the grinder workout for everybody.
No.
It could be whatever. It's it's taking a walk and just looking at the tree, whatever it is. It just happens to be for you, for me. It's that workout.
It's looking in the mirror too, because what was for you 30 years ago is a lot different today, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have kids, so when you are a parent, things are a lot different than when you aren't a parent.
Yeah.
And there's people that are single, there's people that are married, men, women. There's so many elements to this that there's not just this one thing that's the right formula for everyone, right?
No, but that core thing, being based in good. 7 billion people here. Like, there's, I don't know, a million different versions of what that good core could be. Like, maybe you're Hindu, maybe you're Muslim, maybe you're Christian, and your faith is that thing. That's fine. Like the commonality of, if you're a parent, probably you being a good contributing provider and protector of your family is probably a good core for that.
Yeah.
If you are on that grind of the entrepreneur and you want to build that business and employ people so they can pay their mortgages and like make America, a great place again, like that might be it. And it's going to be different for all these people, but like in the core, it's good. And just give me more people with that.
Yeah. That's why I tell everybody, people ask me about going to church and stuff. And I go, yeah, I enjoy going to church. For me, whatever you want to believe, whatever, but it gives me about an hour, hour and a half of no phone, no TV, no conversation with anyone, no thinking about anything other than this one thing. And you got positive music, typically a positive message around other positive, like-minded people.
Yeah,
and that 1 hour, 90 minutes a week gives me that. And I think that's very important for a lot of people. And you don't necessarily have to go to a building for that. You can go take a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
You can go,
shoot your bow.
Go shoot your bow, whatever it might be.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And and then you talk about guys like both of y'all that, you're going hardcore, and for you, like you can't go to Walmart today. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't go do those things. You can, but it turns into a meet and greet.
Right.
And for you to be able to find that thing, I think it's very important. And I think a lot of folks that are in your position to where it's hard to just be, I don't know if normal is the right word. It's finding that thing, so that you don't get lost in the celebrity aspect of it.
I think that's, for me, that was always, I was very lucky and blessed that being the celebrity wasn't the motivation for me. It just never was. And you can attest to it. I'm the most reluctant celebrity. Like I don't, people will always say, all you do is just call these people and they'll send you this or they'll do, it's just, I hate the way I work, and I don't put any stock in it. And I take what I did very seriously, and I took a lot of pride in trying to be the best at what I could do, but I never really took myself so seriously. Like, I'm a 7-time world champion. That was never a motivation, and it tends to suck a little bit now because like I'm trying to live my life now a little differently than being on the road all the time and doing those things. So you've got to have those things that keep you centered and grounded. And your approach is awesome. It's inspiring. I hope somebody is really actually paying attention to what you're saying, because it makes so much sense to be able to find those things that, and it does. It stems from being good, and if you feel good and you're being good, I think those other things come easier.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
My brother talks about this a lot, and he did 30 years in the Air Force and was a
barely constitute service.
Almost like 4 years in the Army,
I got a brother. I got one of those
I
brothers
was
too.
like barely
It's like- it's like
constitutes
four- it's
service.
like
I've got one of those brothers too.
Yeah. But he was a command chief of 2 different installations and, all that stuff. And he says all the time, and I'd like to get your opinion on this. We stopped doing hard things.
Some people stop doing hard things.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like a lot of the problem is people aren't waking up and doing something hard every day.
There's a fascinating study about what happens in the brain when you go to do something really, really hard and you quit. There's literally a gap in the way that your brain is developing from you trying to do a hard thing and stopping. You're conditioning your brain. Have you ever heard like quitting's contagious?
Oh yeah,
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And not only is it contagious, like we can scientifically prove it's contagious for that person and it's contagious for those other people around them. And that person would be able to quit easier moving forward. But along that line of doing hard things and going to completion, and me, like, I'm going to brag about my son or Carl over there, like people that have habitually their whole entire lives committed themselves to doing a difficult thing and seeing it to completion. Those are the people that we can look at over and over again. The Evan Hafers, the Matt Bests, the Jareds, the Mike Glovers, the Morgan and Marcus Luttrells, the Dan Crenshaws. Like the list just goes like, oh, of course they're going to be successful at this other thing. Well, they've fought through these difficult tasks to completion over and over and over again. They are now conditioned to see it through, and they're going to. I am going to disagree, though, that I think there's a gap, there's a chasm right now between those people that are voluntarily choosing to do hard things and seeing it through, and that group of people is the same, if not growing. And then there's this other large group of people that I will agree just aren't doing those hard things. And there's this huge divide between the two. And we have more entrepreneurs than ever right now. We have more people that are like starting new sports like jiu-jitsu that are trying to run their first marathon. We have more people trying to complete an Ironman than ever before. Like these are really hard things that more than ever people are trying to do. Like we have more people learning how to hunt for the first time. Like there's a generational gap where people are like, grandpa didn't teach them. They didn't know how to do it. Now they don't know where to start. And it's like, we run a learn how to hunt course, and we cannot launch enough of them because more people, a demand that we just cannot fulfill of people wanting to do this hard thing, which is like learning something new. And then you have this other group that are like, Uber eating, they're obese, they're depressed. And I wish and I hope that the group on this side is just extending the olive branch and reaching out to support this group on this other side.
I was about to say, how are you bridging that gap?
With grace. I think it's really hard for high achievers, like multi-time champions to like have grace to reach and be like, hey, like you can come and give this a try. And it's going to be fine. You're like 1% better. You don't have to be perfect today. Let's just.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to like.
Yep. You don't have to rush to failure, but it's totally fine. Like growth only occurs via suffering. So it's fine to fail. Like, I want to deadlift this thing. In truth, like it's not good to go up on a bar and try to PR and not hit it, because then I have to go back down in weight and add weight multiple sets and times for me to go back to try and PR that thing again. Instead, I should work up to a weight that I know I am going to be able to do, and then slightly increase it every time. In that same sense, like getting somebody over to the side of doing hard things and seeing it through completion, like that word grace is a really difficult thing that I have been trying for the past 20 years to understand how to do, which is to like reach out with kindness and intentionality and freaking grace. Like that's a hard word.
Well, it is a hard word, but it's good that's in you, because I think the problem is there's not enough people with that grace anywhere in them to even start to extend the olive branch.
We're post WrestleMania, and I think the most impressive thing of all of WrestleMania was seeing you get back in the ring.
No, well, thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, and for you to all of a sudden grab the Rock and pick him up and choke slam him. You got him up pretty easy.
Well, it may have looked that way, but it was as hard as a rock.
I could imagine.
I mean, but that,
Did you have any help?
I I didn't have any help getting it up that time, but there's certain times I do need a little extra help getting it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Even for the Undertaker?
Dude, it happens to everybody.
Really?
Yeah, even the Undertaker.
Wow.
I mean,
So, you didn't have any help getting him up, but you've had to get help getting, like, what are we talking about sex?
well, I mean, yeah, we're talking about sex, but you know, when you have a reputation as being a big stiff, I mean, you got to back that reputation up.
Absolutely.
So, you know, as you become an older taker, it's sometimes you need a little, you know, a little something to help you rise to the occasion.
Well,
And that's what, you know, that's what I do. I rise to the occasion. So I found a little secret.
really? Please inform me.
Can I trust you?
That probably not, but I mean, it's
figures.
50-50 at this point.
Dude, Blue Chew.
Blue Chew,
It comes in a small little package.
just like me.
Just like you, a small little package. You tear it open, looks like a little pill. You chew it up, dissolves. Next thing you know, brother, you got boner power.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Man.
You make that
That's
sucker
simple.
stand at attention. And you know, you're an ex-military guy. You know about standing at attention.
Oh, I can stand at attention. I mean, not like I used to.
But hey,
It's
well,
not
do
as-
you want to? If you want to go back to the glory days,
I would love nothing more.
Blue Chew's the answer, man.
Tell me more.
I'm just saying, this thing, it's got all the active ingredients of any boner pill, brother.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just easy. It's easy. All you got to do is boom, pop it in and just wait for the fireworks.
Man, this seems too good to be true.
No, brother. It's proof. It's science.
Science.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, where can I tell me more about this? Where can I find Blue Chew? How do I get my hands on this miracle? How do I get my hands on this miracle?
Go to bluechew.com, brother. It's as easy. You can't forget it. Bluechew.com. And so, and just because I make sure that everything is legal, listen to this.
Okay.
I'm going to read you a few things here.
Tell me. It's like a bedtime story.
This is a bedtime story. I like how you did that.
I'm gonna close my eyes and we'll think about Amy.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in a chewable tablet. And at a fraction of the cost. Say, that's the part I know you really like.
I like a good
right?
save. I like
you
savings.
you like to save some money, even on your boner
I
pills.
like a deal.
And you can take them. You were talking about in the daytime. You can take them anytime, day or night. So you can plan ahead and be ready whenever the opportunity arises.
Right before church,
how-
pop a couple of men.
See how I did that?
Yeah.
That's one of the best times ever. Right
before church,
Yeah, man. Process is simple. You sign up at bluechew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Now, the best part, you ready for this?
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So in case you got nosy neighbors, there ain't nobody going to be in your business.
So
They're
my
not
mail-
going to know you got boner pills sitting on your
My
front porch.
mailman's not even gonna know.
No, he ain't going to know. He ain't going to know.
That's nice.
Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. You, Matt Lyda, they want to help you have better sex.
They read my mind.
Yep. So all you do, discover your options at bluechew.com. Now get this. You chew it and do it.
I'm chewing right now.
You got chew it in your mind, right? Can you visualize it? Can you see it? Chew it and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can visualize it right now.
This is the best part right here.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code 6feet at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code 6feet to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. So, I mean, at least you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think as our society right now is so split, and there's
So divided.
There's these and there's those,
Yeah.
and
There's the theys and the thems.
all of it.
Yeah.
But there has to be at some point. There's got to be, just for the sake of our own civilization and our own society, that there has to be somebody that's willing to
And I think
extend the olive branch. And that's to me, that's just amazing
that group though that is not doing the hard things, they're not, trying to become 1% better. I don't think I think there's a lot of them that are sitting there that are completely okay with where they are, but I think there's a lot of them that are sitting there going, I don't know where to start. I don't know how, what is that one? How could I get that 1%? I'm scared. I'm scared to fail. I'm scared of whatever.
what everybody's going to say, what
It's
everybody
intimidating.
thinks.
I walk into a gym and I see this guy or I see you, and it's like, that's intimidating, right? I will never be this guy. But I think a lot of people, what they don't realize, you walk in, to do jiu-jitsu with you, you may take them to the brink of death, but you're also going to help them. You're doing it with open arms. I'm going to show you how to become 1% better today.
This is going to blow people's, that this is going to come out of my mouth. I think most people set the bar way too high for their start point. Like anything and seeing it through to completion is better than nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, just walk a block. It might not even be walk a block. It might be like, don't turn on the Xbox or PlayStation today. Like that might be it. It might be like, don't get a bag of chips today. Like that's all you had to do. And like, you can write it out, make that your thing to do today. And you did it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You just taught yourself that you can set a goal, you can achieve that goal, you can see it through completion. Now I'm going to set another goal. Like maybe then tomorrow it is walk around the block. Sick. You set that, you did that, set the next one. And then who knows, like then you're that, have you seen that Asian Navy SEAL, Green Beret, NASA astronaut? This is a real dude. Like
That sounds like the joke that we always use.
Yeah,
Where it's like the
but
Navy
this isn't
SEAL ranger.
This is
that-
actually a person.
yeah, and he's a doctor. He's literally a doctor.
come on.
I'm dead serious.
Come on.
Like I'll pull him up right now. And do you know that dude's name, Carl? Yeah. And he's good looking. Like he just got the lottery, or God bless him. But
The struggle is real.
the
I
ego
love
is
that.
still there.
I love it.
his goals clearly were different than my goals.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I would love to be called an astronaut. I think my kids would love it if like, Dad, have you been to the moon? No, I haven't. I've never even been in space. And I'm not a doctor, I'd never say I want
I
to be
don't
in the
think
SEAL.
your kids are going to be too disappointed in the
No,
fact that
all I'm saying is that
their
there's,
dad,
that
Tim
there's
Kennedy.
levels and they're all fine. Set the bar to where you can succeed, then move the bar up.
And I think
Yeah, I think
that's
that's
key
key.
right there. Like
Yeah.
you just said, don't buy the bag of chips today, or don't go through stop getting food through a window. Quit going to the fast food. Try to just be a little bit better. And it's not necessarily going and doing a 20-minute ice plunge or whatever it is, or sitting in the sauna and running 50 miles today.
I'll send you a copy of this podcast so you can watch it.
I fell
How
off
much of your food comes through a window?
tons.
What?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Tim,
It has to be less than 10%. That's the goal. You like
That's your goal.
less than 10% of the amount of food that I eat
Yep.
of calories. It
Yep.
needs to be coming through a window.
it has to be less
than 10%.
Yeah,
for a
90%
drive-through.
should be home prepared. Meal prep, home cooked meals.
Man, I had a good run there, didn't I, for about 2 years, and then
It's like the Joey
Chestnut.
of
It's a
Nine
roller.
line.
It's a roller coaster, right? So like, I was fat.
Don't be fat.
Somebody told me that I couldn't run a marathon, I'd die. And
Yeah, you get that. Listen, he has it in him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got out of the Army in 2003, went 16 years without exercising.
Okay.
16 years. And
Hard
this
to
is how I'll
believe.
prove
Hard
it
to
to
believe.
you.
I
This is
know.
how I'll prove it to
Okay,
you.
so we're 2019.
I started running in 2019. At the end of 2019, my marathon was going to be on March the 1st or 2nd of 2020. So it was right before COVID. Like COVID happened like a week later, right? So I was running. I ran 4 miles on a Wednesday night. The next day I couldn't walk. I thought my knees were shot and everything else, right? I had a lady come over, the physical therapist later or whatever. She checked me out. She goes, "You don't have any quad muscles." She said, "You have no quad muscles."
You have no quads.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, that's what's going to prevent your knees from hurting so bad." She goes, "You literally have 0 quads." And I go, "What do I need to do?" And she was like, "You need to start doing like squats. To start with air squats. I don't think you can handle weight."
Just exercise?
She was like, "You need to start like riding a bike. You need to do things like that." So started doing that.
He's starting to sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But just being a man and having like somebody come up and be like,
you don't have quads. That's
Yeah.
exactly what she said to me. Just that easy.
Yeah,
And I'm
legs feed
sitting
the
in the
wolf.
Black Rifle at Nine Line, sitting in the coffee shop, and she's like, "Yeah, you don't have quads." That's what she's telling me. And I'm sitting there like looking at like your picture on the wall and all this other crap, all these real men around me and everything. And I'm like,
Drinking a Frappuccino.
yeah. And I'm just like,
With
I'm
soy
drinking
milk.
Yeah, I was drinking a
with
Coke.
2 pumps of vanilla.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." Then that March, so you know who Chad Wright is?
Yeah.
So Chad became kind of a mentor for
Dude,
me.
he's an inspiration.
Oh, it was great inspiration, right?
Yeah.
And this was before he but got big. And
I liked him when he was like, he's still the same person.
Yes.
But man, he is a.
yeah. So Chad's like,
Do you know who Chad Wright is?
Just through him.
yeah.
Mad, wild man.
So we go to lunch together, and he's like throwing Jesus on me and everything else, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna be fine. I FaceTimed him after the marathon. I ran the marathon. It was about a I think it was a 2-day marathon, is what my time was. It was a weekend, so I finished it and almost died. And COVID hits. COVID was the greatest thing in the world for me. Couldn't go to restaurants. I couldn't do it. It was all, I would go to the office at 9 Line. I would leave usually about 1, 2 o'clock. I'd go home and I worked out. And I started getting these mentors like Chris Gronkowski with Ice Shaker. And he's like, "What workout did you do today?" And all this. And I'm cooking everything at the house. I get a Traeger. I'm just like eating steaks and, chicken and just doing that constantly, running constantly, just doing all these workouts. Started running 50Ks, ultra marathons, all that stuff, right? And then, dude, as soon as I was able to go inside of a restaurant, I ran New York City Marathon in 4 hours and 2 minutes. I go run all these ultras. Food is my biggest problem. I can go work out today. We could go run right now. I can go run 5 miles right now. I ran 3 miles the other day. I can go run 5 miles right now. It's going to be slow. But my problem is I can't stop eating. I love everything from gas station hot dogs to freaking 5-star restaurants.
We go hunting up in Lubbock, Texas. We go on a sandhill crane hunt every January, and we have to stop at one particular gas station because they serve green chili. What?
Green Hatch chili burritos.
Green Hatch chili
Breakfast
burritos out of a gas station. We have to go to this particular gas station. That's where we meet our guides at this, so he can get.
I get pissed when we don't go to that gas station.
Boo-boo faced all day if he don't get to get his.
I mean, you
green-
got the dog in you. Now you just got to feed the dog real food. Like abs are made in the kitchen. And this is a cheat that I do. I had this girl that did me dirty, and hurt the feelings, hurt the ego. I will literally envision her face and I will attach it to something that I know is not good for me. And every time I see that Green Hatch chili burrito being offered, I see that girl's face. And I'm like, I want nothing to do with that thing. And you can do this with...
It's not working.
And this is,
He's a forgiver.
I've got Jesus in my heart. I'll just forgive. I ate
Talk about your grace. He's got plenty
just
of it.
randomly. I had a bodybuilder that was doing some stuff with us, and he goes, "Man, I heard you can eat a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, I have the ability to eat a good bit." He goes, "I think I can out eat you." I said, "Well, you should be able to." I was like, "You're burning, 7,000 calories just existing." And he goes, "Tomorrow, let's have an eating contest." This was a Monday, so tomorrow's Tuesday. I was like, "Okay, cool, man." What do you want to do? I said, you just tell me what you want to eat. He goes, all right. He goes, well, I'm going to fast and everything else. I said, brother, I'm going to go home tonight. I said, I'm probably going to kill a pizza, a bag of chips. And I said, I'm going to get up in the morning. I said, I'm going to have an energy drink. I'm going to eat breakfast. And then we're going to do this eating contest. I said, you can fast all you want. So we got chicken nuggets. I ate 85 and a half chicken nuggets and an apple pie for lunch on a Tuesday.
Oh my God.
And functioned for the rest of the day. If I want pizza, this is no lie, Tim. If I want pizza, I go to a pizza place. People lunchtime getting a slice. I'll order an entire large pie and sit down and eat the entire large pie.
Tim, we need you, buddy.
Yeah,
we need
tag me, Mark. I got
we
this.
We need you. And we may need Goggins on speed dial.
I have an eating disorder.
You put Tim and Goggins in the same room at the same time on the same task, like you're done for.
I ran one morning with Eddie Gallagher, and he told me, he said, I've never met anybody that can wake up and run like you did and then literally go eat the way that you eat. Oof. And when I was running those marathons and stuff, it was fine. The furnace was hot.
Yeah.
I put bad stuff in me, and it tastes so good. It feels good. It feels good.
It doesn't feel good. So the job of the food industry is to make you want to eat more and eat more frequently. That is their job.
They are winning.
I know. But that you have to recognize that the entire food industry, they want you fat. They want you addicted. They want you to come back for more and eat more every time that you come back. That is how they make money.
You're a junkie.
Oh,
you're 100%.
I don't drink. I mean, like, Happy Dad's a sponsor of ours, and I'll sit here and like have a little. If you want a hard seltzer, go ahead and pop you one open. But like, I'm not addicted. Like, I used to smoke cigarettes. I just woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to smoke anymore, and I quit smoking. And
So stop eating like shit.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
It is my man. When I'm having a bad day, I've run up to McDonald's.
We've already covered having the bad day.
Yeah.
You're not taking notes, Matt.
Having a bad day doing something hard. Can I get 3 Big Macs down?
Can you drive by 3 McDonald's in a row? Can you do that? That should be that'll be the first go. Can you leave Austin, Texas?
So like, what is the low hanging fruit for you to be able to achieve that first task to completion? So like, okay, if the goal is 90% home cooked meals, if you average, let's say that you eat out 15 times in a week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I cook a lot at the house. I really do. I do. I love my Traeger and I love cooking out and everything else.
So let's say 5.
It's lunches. Lunches are bad for me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Tacos and.
Well, you can get good tacos here.
Yeah. I mean, in Savannah though, in Savannah, Georgia, I mean, we have a good taco place there. It's pretty greasy, but it's good. Yeah.
You see what I'm fighting here?
I don't know.
You see what I'm dealing with?
I'm like, oh, okay. I know. Then you like brought me up, and then you let me down.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's opportunities. There's opportunities for me to do better. We know that. Let me tell you about all the bad things Mark does, though. Man, is there a list?
Go. Statute of limitations has run out on most of that.
I will say though, since you've retired, you have, especially it seems like the last, I don't know what, 12 months, you've really gotten back on a good health kick, haven't you?
Yeah, I just 300 pounds and being over 300 pounds on. I'm trying to. So I've had both my knees done now. Both my hips are all metal now. So I'm just trying to make sure that when I leave this planet, I have these particular ones with me. And so just I don't need to be that heavy anymore. I mean, it used to be obviously for the job, but I feel better. I feel better at 285, 290 than I do at 315. So I just, I work, I don't miss, I try not to miss a workout, and then just eat better.
Yeah.
We get put in certain situations that sometimes you just have to eat, but for the most part, same kind of deal. I grill and cook, but it's
tough. Food's tough.
Food is tough.
Food's tough for me anyway. Food's tough. We'll talk offline about food's tough.
It's not. I'm rebuking that sentence. I mean, it's not. It's just literally a choice, just like anything else. Like being monogamous. It's not tough. Just like be with that one. Make the choice.
Yeah.
Exercise every day. It's not hard. Just do it.
You really got some hard lines here. I don't.
Those are not hard lines.
There's not a lot.
Those are really low bar lines.
Those are.
You're really setting a standard that a lot of people can't achieve.
These are doable things. Yeah.
Speaking of things that's hard to achieve, when did you join the military?
9/11.
9/11. You and I joined at the same time then. Yeah, I joined a week after. How long were you in before you decided to take the journey of Special Forces?
I went in as an 18 X-ray, so I was a Special Forces recruit. I went there. So 9/11 knocked on every door, trying to figure out what and how to go and find the people that did this. Ultimately, Special Forces Army said that they could promise you a slot to selection if you finished basic training, infantry school, airborne school, and a tritter called Special Operations Preparation Course. If you completed those things, then you could go to selection. They didn't tell you that like 90% of the people would get kicked out or attrited during those last 2 phases. That was important. But anyways,
You made it.
yeah, by the skin of my teeth and the grace of the people around me.
Yeah. So like I obviously I didn't serve. So each Special Forces group, Green Berets, or SEALs.
Green Berets, SEALs.
Yeah, that's why I said you first. Green Berets, SEALs. So their training is obvious. I mean, it's different. Is one more team oriented, more than individual oriented?
So the selection portion is very similar. If you go from all special operations, Marines, Navy, Army, Air Force, you're going to find almost not identical, but very, very similar requirements, must pass gates and levers and mechanisms that they're using to evaluate the candidate. Sleep deprivation, long movements, land navigation, cold water. These are things that are, transcend the branch of service.
Sure.
Because anybody when they're well fed, they have had sleep, they can be tough.
Right.
Like I can do hard things. Well, of course you can. Like you had 8 hours of sleep, and you had a great meal. Like, sure, you can go, but can you do those things when you're hurting? And so we have to pull back a few layers for us to evaluate the person's soul, their character, their integrity. And then each of them have, whether it's Hell Week or Team Week, they all have their own tiny little spin or flair on, we've got them tired enough, we've got them hungry enough, and we've got them hurt enough where now I get to take a peek about how they interact with other people.
In those conditions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then once they're selected, they're trained specific for that mission. So a Green Beret has a much different mission than a Navy SEAL.
Right.
And our training would very much enable us to be able to do our mission, just like it enables them to do their mission. Then you can argue about which mission's more important. I argue that what we do is the thing that we have been seen the most success in this 20 years at war that we've been in. It's like the Green Berets Army Special Operations have done most of the heavy lifting, but each of them have their own niche and their own kind of size of the regiment. But the selection's very similar, and then training starts getting different for
more
specialized.
So you were a sniper, right? So were you? Okay, let me just back up first, because you were already a professional fighter, though, right?
Yeah, I was top 10 in the world when 9/11 happened.
Wow, that's wow, it's impressive.
Yeah. Top 3 would have been cooler, but yeah.
Well, wouldn't it have mattered though?
No,
it wouldn't have mattered, right?
No,
You knew what you had to do.
Yep.
So were you? I'm going back to the sniping part. Were you really like a good marksman beforehand, or was it something that you developed?
Most snipers, there's always outliers in the bell curve of good ones. They're country bumpkins,
right?
And that's what I was. I grew up in Atascadero, California. I was born in San Luis Obispo, California. I'd fight at the California Mid-State Fair in Paso Robles. You know, my parents' folks, my folks' ranch now is like, I think the next stoplight is 40 minutes, 30 minutes from their place. You know, it's
You see out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
People think California, you know, they're thinking LA and Hollywood and San Francisco. Like the vast majority of that place is agriculture. You know, like I grew up fixing fences, throwing hay bales, and you know, and fighting people. That's all there was to do.
Wow. So what was your rifle? I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by long range shooting. That's why I'm asking all these questions. That's something that I would love to be better at. So
This was what's my caliber, what's my rifle would 100% depend on what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, if I'm in Sawyer City, Ramadi, like I'm in Baghdad, and I'm looking over Route Irish, and there's people trying to plant bombs on the highway. You know, I want to engage out to maybe 1,000 because I'm going to have overlap with the next sniper, but I'm going to have to engage multiple targets because I'm going to have to shoot the dude with the shovel, the dude with the binoculars, the dude with the bomb, and then the vehicle that brought them there. So like these are going to be like ta 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 ta. You know, it's like I'm totally fine with 7.62 by 5.1, like the 175 grain 308 out of the SR25. Like that was kind of the go-to for multiple engagements at multiple distances. This was even pre-Horus reticle, before like the H58 or the H59.
Right.
Like before that, you know, we're still using mil dot. I'm dialing on distance and then adjusting for wind. You know, so much easier now.
Right.
And then, like, you know, we had the Shy-Tech, then the 338 Lapua, the 338 Norma. Like, this was pre-6.5. I remember when the 300 Win Mag shows up, I'm like, this is the sickest thing on the planet. I get to cut my wind call by a third. You know, it's like, my mind's blowing. You're like, I can take this to sniper school, and, you know, like, everything is 30% easier.
That's great.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I've got
a Shy-Tech
out there for a second.
I went to the Nine Line Foundation and got into a bidding war over Shy-Tech.
Oh, nice.
I won it.
My man.
I got it.
And thank you for your donation and your contribution.
It was, it got to the point, like, I think it was my first year at the foundation.
It was the first year.
Yeah. And, you know, I'd shot it already.
We knew what we were doing
early in the day.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
We had him and about 3 other guys that we knew had the pockets for it. So
we're at the dinner that night and we're doing the auction. I'm like, yeah, I got that. And this other guy, last second, goes up, bids. I'm being totally just judging a book by its cover. I'm like, I don't even know that guy could hold that gun up. Like, what the is this guy doing? Like, he's going to put that on his mantle. He'll never use it. Bid again. He bids again. I'm like, son of a. And I still am at a price, like, I know I'm getting this rifle at a good price still, but I'm like, I'm getting pissed at this guy. And I think I finally went, because he's the auctioneer. And I'm like, this is across the bar, you know? And there's probably somebody else from Nine Line.
what's up?
Was he a plant?
Probably.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah, look, you lied, dog.
Waterboard you
not a
with
plant.
diesel.
Yes.
Not a plant.
Show me how to do that.
Oh, I can do that.
I know you can. Show me. Hey, come on.
I was the bit dude for bit. The battlefield interrogation techniques, like I'm talented at asking questions, is what I'm saying.
Well, me and Jared went through the Army Combat Diver School down in Key West a couple of weeks ago. I got the videos of that where they're like shoving the hose in my goggles and it's going up my nose and I'm doing flutter kicks, and then they throw you in the water like tied up and trying
That's
to drown.
impressive, but I would really like to watch Tim waterboard.
I would enjoy it.
I don't want to be waterboarded at all.
Do you imagine how many subscribers that would tune in to see you get waterboarded? Just to complain.
All of them.
Just to complain.
Oh no, they would cheer it.
Yeah,
No, I would. But
I know they called it, and people are arguing torture, enhanced interrogation. You could like throw me on the board for 10 hours and I'll get off, have a cup of coffee and go work out. Like, it is not a thing. I don't understand how it's ever been a thing.
You and I are built a little different. So
No. A Shy-Tech story. 2008, Afghanistan, Firebase Anaconda. If you go and Google Firebase Anaconda, you'll see the Taliban have multiple times literally like climbed over the walls, and the special forces guys that were there have had to fight like hand to hand to protect this base. It is in the worst geographic location that you could. Sun Tzu in The Art of War, if he was like, now if you want to make a base and have it in the worst possible place on the planet, reference Firebase Anaconda. Current one of the Command 7 Special Forces groups, AF, he was assigned at this base, and when I got there, I was escorting the Czech Special Operations to this base. And we just got pieced up the whole entire going in there. We got ambushed, RPG skipping off hoods. We lost I think we lost maybe about 60, 70% of the vehicles that we were trying to bring into this fire base. We lost on our way in. Jeez. And when we get there, we're still like getting messed with, and I'm over it. And I was like, why be a Special Forces sniper if you don't do Special Forces sniper stuff? So I went and I took this Shy-Tech and I climbed up on top of this roof, and we had this like God eye that would give you an azimuth and it would shoot a distance and direction. So I set up at the base of this thing so I could have a dude downstairs just like scan around using the thermal and be like, hey, I found a dude. Beep. This dude's at 1,100 meters. He's Tim at this azimuth. So I'd be like, sit up, glass, figure out where he's at, start making my wind calls. And they got really comfortable with the engagement distance from this base. They got comfortable with small arms fire happening less than 700 meters.
Right.
Then a dude shows up that can shoot far with a gun that can shoot far. Yeah. So it was just like fish in a barrel for about 2 days. They didn't figure out that like things had changed, and things had changed.
Things had changed.
And this one dude, he's sitting there, he's on these binoculars, and he's like obviously trying to call rounds on. And I get set. He's at like 1,500 meters, 1,400 meters. Pow. And it hits the wall next to him. It goes like this. And this idiot brings his head over to take a peek at what just hit the wall. And I was like, same hold. Pow. And he put his head, like my wind call obviously was off about 8 inches. And he takes his head and he sticks his head over this hole. And as fast as I could throw another round in this thing. Man. And sick. Shy-Tech. But he bought one.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
He helped eradicate the homeless veterans by buying that.
I've tried to do my part that way.
You have. There are no more homeless veterans.
Not with the Shy-Tech. With your contribution and buying the gun. I think
Absolutely.
that should be significantly distinguished here.
Absolutely. Yes, the Shy-Tech is not the reason why.
His donation is
My
the thing that
donation,
helped
yes,
the
my
homeless
donation,
veterans.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm here to help.
But yeah, I'm amazed by that whole ability. That's just to get out from that kind of range and put something on somebody or a target. A target.
We have a RPR range up in Burnett. You ever been up there? Brother, you got to. So we have ranges out to 2,500 meters. Clayton Herget runs a great, he has this course called the Wind Talker. Like all you do is you sit up there for 18 hours. They have multiple ridges, and you'll have like a left to right through this valley. Then you'll have a right to left through this valley, or you'll have a left to right that's at 6 miles an hour. And then over this next ridge, you're going to have another left to right that's at 9 miles an hour. Like how do you make that wind calculation?
Right.
All you do is just sit there on glass and talk wind. And then one dude's taking shots and people are making adjustments to learn what the wind is. Sometimes we set up flags to start measuring what it is. We run our precision rifle, sheepdog response. We teach like entry to precision rifle out there. And it is, there's this one portion called the gentleman's range. And when you get to the RPR range, off to the left-hand side, they have ranges that steal from 200 out to maybe about 1,500, 1,600 on that side of the gentleman's range. And some of them, there's like steel, like an IPSC target inside of a car, or they'll be like, so it's fun because it's different types of challenges at different distances, at different angles. And it's just beautiful because you're in Burnett, Texas, in hill country. And Vol, that owns the ranch, is a great American. It's my favorite place in Central Texas to shoot precision rifle.
I was out in West Texas on an aoudad hunt, and
You got to shoot far to shoot aoudad.
yeah. I think I shot one. I was pretty lucky. I was about 450 yards, but I had a guy out there. I didn't have my Shytech, but I had my Lapua, and he was doing my windages for me.
Yeah.
'Cause there's, out in West Texas, there's a 30-mile-an-hour crosswind coming through, and
Shoot a 250 grain bullet. 3,000 feet per second?
Yeah. So fortunately, and this guy, he was well versed. I think he was, I don't know, I think Delta. I don't know what he was, but he's still doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's, an old school guy, Kentucky windage and, all that. So he's making my adjustments for me. And I'm where I'm looking and where I'm thinking and where I'm thinking I'm down, and he'd let me do it, and he goes, "No, you're going to miss by you're going to miss by 10 yards," and I'm like, "No." He goes, "All right, send it." All right. Sure enough, he said, "Man, he would just by sight and checking the wind, man, he would turn it in." He said, "All right," and we were shooting at metal, 3/4 inch metal targets. He said, "All right, shoot at the ass. I want you to shoot I aim for the ass of this thing." Well, why would I shoot at the ass? Because you want to hit it in the head, right? Sure. I'm like, fuck. Ding, ding.
Yeah, that's the best feeling in the world.
I mean, it was like, I didn't do any of it. All I did was pull the trigger, but man.
That's hard. I mean, that's an important thing.
I know it's important, but I want to be able, I want to be able to.
I love people that are experts and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, and you're just around them. Like, to me, it's just so cool.
That's just a
skill. Come up and shoot. We got Delta dudes, SEAL Team 6. They're not real snipers, but I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
I'm not. Do you realize the Coast Guard at the International Sniper Competition for the past 4 years, they have been podium guys. The Coast Guard, they have like wicked talented snipers in the Coast Guard. I was also rescued one time by the Coast Guard, so I'm going to give them 2 compliments in a row, which I'm not good at compliments, and I definitely don't want to compliment the Coast Guard. But 1, they pulled me from the water from drowning, so thanks for that. 2 is, man, they have put together this guy named Sean, a unit dude, won't say his last name, really set up. All the branches of service right now have it dialed in. Yeah. After 20 years at war, man, we've never had better snipers in the history of this country.
Wow, that's good to know.
You got open invite. Come shoot with us. We got all the guns.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You bring your fancy stuff. Let us shoot it.
Let us shoot it.
Can't hide money.
Yeah.
Well, the guy actually did tell me this guy's first name was Jim. He did tell me, he said, "You don't got enough scope for this. You need more scope for this my 338 Lapua." I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? That's the biggest scope that I went to like Sportsman's Finest." No,
they don't even sell it there. You need like a Lupul Mark 8, get that Trijicon 10 miler. If you got a $10,000 gun and you throw a $2,000 scope on there, you have a $2,000 weapon system.
That's
that makes sense.
Math.
Yeah.
That's that minus that subtraction math. I don't
know. You have to have enough glass for a gun that has.
We'll get it out that far.
Yeah, I mean, that 338 can shoot 2,000 meters.
Yeah.
Can you see 2,000 meters?
Not now.
No.
I mean, no.
I mean, you got to have glass that can get out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you shoot that aoudad with that 338?
I did.
Was there much of that thing left?
No.
250 grains at 400 yards?
I shot that son of a gun twice with the 338. He got up twice.
They're so tough.
He got up twice, and then I put the 3rd round in him with a 308, and that finally dropped him. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
NATO for the win.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because my spotter was out there. Everybody missed him, and I was like, and it was getting dark, and I was like, we got an aoudad right there. Everybody's like, where? And like, holy shit, man, we're getting out of the buggy, and everybody's getting me all set up on the back of it, and I put 2 of them right in his shoulder. He went down, and he did he just set up. I was like, son of a bitch.
I can't eat those things though.
Oh, no. Well, that's what I thought, right? I said, that's a big, because it's a big animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, my freezer's full. And they go, no, you don't want to eat this. They taste like they're
A
horrible.
bunch of the ranchers out there want them gone.
Yeah.
You know, like the like in just herd management, making sure that because they'll wreck troughs and fences, and obviously they're eating grass that should be going to cows or elk.
Yeah. I didn't know that they were originally brought in from Africa. Yeah. There's more aoudad in Texas than there are in Africa now.
There's a lot of that in Texas, though.
Well,
when
yeah,
it comes to animals.
Texas is so big.
It's so weird. Yeah.
I was just in Estonia, and people are like, "Hey, have you been here?" I'm like, "Yeah, but man, I've been everywhere." And I was trying to explain, you can drive from like one side to the Baltic to Russia in a half a day in Estonia. I'm like, it takes you a day of straight driving at 100 miles an hour to just cross Texas, just to cross it.
Yeah.
Like not going down and seeing the coast and coming up, like
straight line.
A straight line.
Just straight line, 100 miles an hour, bro.
Right across. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just such a big place.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, sheepdog response. Now, y'all do like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just like self-protection too, right? As far as like,
mission statement, back to the core of a thing, like the heart of it is to equip and train people to be able to preserve and protect human life.
Right.
That's it. And be able to provide for their families. So with that, we teach people how to shoot. We teach people how to hunt. We teach people how to put on a tourniquet, tactical medicine, and austin environment, communication. It's really, with special operations having been, I'll say blessed to have been given so many resources throughout GWAT, through the global war on terror. You have all of this huge population of wildly talented, true experts that are so good at the hardest things to ever been done by our species. And it's just this little group of people. So like this little group of people, I've empowered and hired to like spread the gospel of what it means to be a sovereign, free person.
Right.
So like everybody's like, hey, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be free. I'm like, do you know how to hunt?
Right.
No. Like you can't get your own food, but you think that you're free. Do you know how to put on a tourniquet? Like you're talking about revolution, but you don't even know how to keep blood in the body of a person that gets hurt.
Right.
You, let alone like protect yourself or your family. Like you don't know how to fish. You don't know how to clean an animal. You don't know how to purify water. You don't know anything about anything, but you're going to sit there and yell at me about how you need to be free, but you can't be free yourself because everybody has a lever on you. Like for me, freedom is sovereignty. Sovereignty is nobody has a say to tell me what to do with me or my family. Like I can provide for them. I can nurture them. I can educate them. I have the ability to truly be free. No, you can't tell me what to put in my kid because my kid is healthy and he's strong and he's smart. And that little 4-year-old, like all she wants to do is swim, chase butterflies, eat our free range chickens, and the elk I'll cook for her every night. Like that's freedom. And so we take that idea of freedom and sovereignty, and the only way that exists, when you look at the Bill of Rights and our beautiful Constitution, all of those founding fathers understood that it took a free society for this experiment of the American idea to work. So a free society is a self-sufficient, sovereign society that can do their own thing. Where like you come to me and tell me what to do, I'm like, no. And they're like, hey, we're going to tax you X amount of dollars. No. Then I'm going to hurt somebody in a public square and be like, oh, now you pissed me off. We're going to kill all of you and kick you off our continent. Then we'll be free. Like that's our founding, right? That's 1776.
Right.
We forget like how we got this way.
Right.
And I think that should, that not rebellious spirit, but that
there's some of that this society in this day and age needs to draw from. Obviously.
Man, they need it.
Yeah,
they need it.
They need to draw from some of that.
So sheepdog response, we go all over the nation. We here in Cedar Park. We run, I don't know what, Carl, like 300-400 classes a year.
Wow. All
over the nation. Sold out. Like I can't launch enough learn how to hunt courses. I can't launch enough our like flagship course is called the Protector course. You learn situational awareness, you learn how to shoot, you learn how to fight, and you learn a little bit of medicine. You know, like that's the basic entry level Protector 1 course. And, then we have
great idea. That's really
taught by literally the best on the planet that have done this their whole entire adult lives in war during the longest war in American history. It's fun.
That's a really
So the learn to hunt, is that essentially showing folks, okay, this is where you want to, how to, deer hunting. This is how you kill a deer. This is how you actually field dress the deer. This is actually how you, is that what you're doing
There's
there?
so much. Yeah, absolutely. We 100% cover all those things. Like ethical harvesting.
Yeah.
The laws around like how do you get your hunting license? Once you have your hunting license, how do you put into like if you can't afford to hunt on like here in Texas, there's not a lot of public land.
Yeah,
the
right.
public land that is available to hunt on. How do I put in to be able to hunt on that public land? If I'm going to be hunting out of state, how do I put in to be put into a lottery to like all? So we have a classroom portion, and then we teach land navigation. So once you know that you can legally hunt, how to legally hunt, how do you get to the land where you are going to legally hunt, species identification, being able to know, like, am I shooting a boy? Am I shooting a girl? Am I shooting the right species of animal? Like when I say a coal hunt, when I think a hunter is the best form of a environmental activist.
Yes.
Like we are the ones that are protecting land. We are the ones that are protecting wetlands. We are the ones that are protecting the health of a species. And very rarely do people understand.
they're so lost on it. They're so lost.
They're the most important thing in the health of a herd or an animal or a species is the hunter.
Yes, absolutely.
They're also perpetuating an industry that supports and pays for the existence of these animals. If they didn't exist, there'd be no hunters. And if there weren't hunters, we wouldn't have these animals.
Yeah.
So like, love you hunters. Then we get out to the ranch and we're teaching, we're doing terrain walks. We're familiarizing them about how to read a map for their land navigation. And ultimately it leads, like obviously the fundamentals of marksmanship, how to zero your rifle, what is the appropriate caliber for what animal. And then like it leads like the crescendo, the climax of the event is we drop you off. You have to move from point A to your zone, which is where you're going to go hunt. You have to identify your, species that is given to you. Like, so we'll say, hey, you're going to be hunting an elk, or you're going to be hunting a white-tailed deer, or you're going to be hunting a pig. And then you have to hunt up to your area to find that animal. Once you find that animal, it's a recreation of the field shoot and sniper phase. Like, all right, I'm ready to shoot. We come up, we photograph your shot, and then we recreate it on the range. So then you actually have to take that real shot on a range, on a target, and prove that you're able to do that. Then we take two animals and we show them how to clean it, how to dress it in two different ways. There's like the field dressing, like, hey, I'm going to clean quarter so I can pack out. And then there's like the camp dressing where like, we don't go like down to the bone, but what are the phases of, if I'm by myself and I packed my way in and I just shot an elk, like I might have to bone that animal because like I may not be able to make multiple trips out. Or I might be able to get the truck close enough where I'm just going to quarter it and I'm going to make 4 trips, with like 2 quarters each trip, the trophy for another trip and the ribs on another trip.
Yeah.
Like there, got it. But like you have to, as a hunter, understand the physicality of it. And like the end state is kill animal, bring meat back to the family. Okay. If that's the end state, what are all of the individual skills that I need to know to get you there? And I'm not disparaging the Generation X, but there was the skills of hunting had been handed off generation to generation. Right. And whatever happened during those 40 years, those skills weren't transferred to the Gen Zs and millennials. So you have all of these Gen Zs and millennials that want to hunt. They hear Cameron, they hear Joe Rogan, they're like, man, this is so freaking cool. This idea of being able to provide for my family. They just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, I got you, bro. Like literally come in. I'm going to have the best hunters on the planet in the most conducive environment for you to learn those things. It would be way better had your grandpa taught you for 20 years. Didn't happen. Totally fine.
Was that your motivation? Was the fact that you saw this influx of people through guys like Rogan and Cameron Haynes who they were listening to, and it might not just be them two, but there was an influx of people that wanted to hunt, but they just didn't see, or they just didn't know the first step or the second step. And you said, there's an opportunity here where I could really help some people.
It wasn't that I saw this population of people that wanted to do it. I knew that the ability to hunt is an enabler for so many other wonderful things that are enriching in somebody's life. Like, it is wonderful for me to cook elk tacos for my family.
Yeah.
It is amazing to walk into that freezer and open it up and be able to remember exactly where I was when this thing that I'm about to, like defrost, dry, salt, and cook. Like I ushered it ethically in a very humane way into death, is sitting there eating grass, looking over at this other pretty thing, back down, and then blackness, right? Like there's no pain, no like mass injection of antibiotics, no anything. Like I saw this thing in life, ushered it into death, humanely processed it, packed that thing out, and now I'm feeding it to my family. Like that is freedom.
That's real freedom.
That's
we were
real
talking
freedom.
about it earlier. The food industry wants to keep us fat and wanting more and coming back for more and everything else. And to be able to go harvest your own food, you're not dependent upon it anymore.
I know
at that point.
everything that is going into that food when we put it into our bodies.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling.
Awesome. That's very cool.
And that's something I know Mark has really enjoyed in his retirement, is hunting now.
His hunting, yeah. That was always my carrot. Like that was dangling there because, I was on the road for 250 days a year for years and years and years, but that was always I'm learning. Even as old as I am, I'm still learning every time I go out in the field, something new and something else. And I mean, I know a guy that double scoped himself.
Oh, Jesus.
It happens.
It happens. It happens.
I'd never seen it. It was new to me. Have you ever seen it?
It's fine. See, no judgment. Grace. I have grace.
I just put you to the test. You are full of grace.
I'm working on it. You know that Mark was the 2023 recipient of the PETA Award for the celebrity wing. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would hold that as a badge of courage and pride.
I do a lot of hunting. I do a lot of hunting. I just don't do a lot of killing.
2023. Yeah. Celebrity Award. He's the spokesman for PETA now. And,
okay. All right.
He's got his championships hanging up in his gym, and he's got the award sitting beside him.
Okay. All right. So
I may have double scoped myself, but
you did.
Yeah,
I've got
taxidermy on the wall.
I do. I got pictures of me looking at an elk. So this past September, I'm in New Mexico.
Elk hunting?
Elk hunting.
I love elk hunting in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it was hot though. The rut hadn't even, we went the same time as we did the year before. Rut hadn't started. It's hot. We hadn't seen a bull. We've seen a couple spikes. And so we're at camp, and some of the guides had come in and they said, don't even glass the south side of a mountain. Because the sun's going to be shining on there. They're going to be in the shade somewhere. So we're getting down to the last couple of days of our hunt. We've been there 6-7 days already, and we just came up on this. We went way back in this valley, and I just happened. I was on the north side. I just happened to put my binos up. I look at the bottom of the south side. There's a 6x laying down underneath the bush. Leave a guy there to glass for us. We drive around to the other side and then hike in. We hike in through, maybe 750 yards through all the sagebrush and all these washouts. Only for me, we were in different washes. So the elk ends up getting up and we walk right by each other.
No.
So, okay, we go back the next day. I said, maybe he went back. I don't think he knew that we were there.
Yeah.
Go back. elk's in the exact same spot. So about 40 yards above where he's at, there's a rock outcrop all the way along on the ridge. So we ended up taking that, it saved us all this time.
Yeah.
Right. So I am right on top of this elk. I did most of my practice, 40, 50 yards with the bow. I'm feeling good. I'm just peeking over. All I'm doing is waiting on him to get up.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was not an ethical shot if I hit him in the spine or what. I didn't want him to. All I'm doing is waiting for him to get up. I've got my I got my arrow knocked. I just keep looking over. I've already got my prayer in my head that I'm going to say over this animal when he gets up. Looking at the guy that's with me. We're thinking about, like, should I throw a pebble over there or something? Anything to get him up on his feet, right? Finally, this elk, he looks back up the canyon. Not up, because I'm right on top of him.
Yeah.
I mean, this elk looks back up the canyon, and in one fluid motion, he is in fifth gear. He's gone.
Wow. Yeah.
I know, we didn't bump him with the wind. He didn't smell me. Huh. No, because the wind's coming in. And I'm sitting there like,
no.
What the hell just happened? Because my heart rate had already got high, and I'd already brought my heart rate down. I'm like, I'm just waiting. I'm as cool as can be.
Best feeling ever.
Yeah, this is gonna be the best thing ever. And then he's gone. There's a mountain lion about 200 yards further down. We had two cubs that she saw.
Yeah.
Or he saw. And so the mountain lion bumps this elk that I had at 40 yards. And so, yes, that's how I received my PETA award and I've got pictures of it. That's the worst part is I've got pictures of this elk just laid up in the shade, just like.
We got big old elk in Texas.
Down to like southwest, right?
That's right. Yep.
Southwest corner. There's some big monsters down there.
And big ranches too. So it's low fence. I mean, it is a hard hunt, but it is so fun. It's I do most of my elk hunting in Texas.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're big.
That's an amazing. I've never got to go on an elk hunt, but that's definitely one that
you can't be fat, and they don't have pizza there. So
I'd bring snacks.
You're gonna bring a mac and cheese on the.
You're very much underestimating me.
You're
very much underestimating.
Not in my camp, you're not. I'll tell you what you won't have.
Well, I do want to hear one thing before you go is the school that you started. I mean, like, I don't know. Do you have like different, like, do you have more hours in a day than I do or something? Because I have 24.
I bend time.
I feel like you've got like 42.
My wife says, she's like, you literally bend time. I was like, yeah, I bend time.
You have done so much, and now you've started he started a school. He started an academy.
We're opening 50 of them this year. We're going to open 500 next year.
Tell us more about this.
Department of Education has been destroying multiple generations, as we now see all universities as byproducts. It's not just the university's fault. It's really easy to be like, oh, look at UCLA or look at USC or, look at Columbia. That has taken 15, 20 years of these kids being continuously manipulated. And we need collaborators. We need inventors. We need critical thinkers. We desperately need leaders with integrity and character. And if not, this experiment of this beautiful constitutional republic is over. And so I opened a school 3 years ago called Apogee Cedar Park. And my friend Matt had the largest Socratic schools in the United States. And he and I did a workout together and went and got coffee. And we sat down and we're like, what needs to be happening in school? Like, one, they need to be left alone. Like, leave those kids alone, that song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just need to have room to play. have room to think, and then be taught the basic core, fundamental cornerstone skills, math, science, real history, not the teacher's take on history. This is history as we know it. And
Good and bad.
Good and bad. And let them critically think their way through it. Even the ugly stuff, like, yes, we had this terrible thing that happened with the North and the South over a terrible thing that goes all the way, totally fine. Give it all to them. So we need the family involved. We need parents to be invested in their children with intentionality and discipline. And I don't want parents in these schools that think they can drop their kid off at 8 o'clock, pick them up at 4 o'clock, and you in any way, if you take your kid and you send him to Caesar and you're going to be mad when you get back a Roman, like, that's your fault. So, like, at some point you have to assume the responsibility of wanting to contribute intentionally into your children's lives. And that's apogee. So, like, we are very, very critical about which families we're accepting into the academies. Of the 50 apogees that are opening in 2024, every one of those school owners was part of our year-long mentorship program, where they're reading freedom-based books, character, integrity, family valued books, and they're working out every single day. They're keeping a journal of their workouts. They're on podcasts with great Americans, learning about what does it mean to be a high achiever. And at the end of that year-long training, we had about 1,000 people put in to open a school. We selected 50. That is for 2024. We're going to be opening. Can I say it, Carl? Yeah, we're going to be opening our kind of flagship campus here, just in Leander, Liberty Hill, big, massive campus. And then next year, I'm not saying we have to abolish the Department of Education, but it has to be burnt to the ground. And if any form of a phoenix rising from the ashes emerges, it has to be one that's based in enabling children to once again be creative, be free thinkers, be critical thinkers, and most of all, have a family that loves them. Yeah,
I feel so underachieving right now. That's amazing.
I suck at life.
Thanks a lot, Tim. You ruined our day. No,
dude,
that's amazing, man. No, that's
the Titanic was cruising in an iceberg, right? And early enough, if it just adjusted 1 degree, it would have avoided it. And that's where we're at right now. And I think people are like throwing darts at teachers, and they're throwing darts at schools, and they're throwing darts at the Department of Education. But like, what are you doing? You're like, only have a couple options right now. You can homeschool your kids.
Right.
You can find a private school where those they have the same values as you, or you can open your own. And in my opinion, those are the only options right now. Otherwise, you're going to get a Roman back from Caesar. And we see what that looks like right now in every college campus.
Right.
I don't want my kids like that. And I don't want a nation built with kids like that. So
free thinkers.
Yeah.
I like it.
With grit.
Yes.
With
something in
no
your belly.
coddling.
Man, you got to come back.
Anytime.
I tell you
I'll
what.
come back if you come shoot with me.
Well, that's a given. You're going to say, gosh, I wish I got to leave the range. But
Never.
Man,
Let's get a workout too.
I got to start doing push-ups or something.
You can start on your knees.
That's fine.
Some air
Start,
squats.
yeah,
You got to
set
start
the bar
somewhere,
low.
right?
Yeah, set the bar. I set the bar low. I can do that. That's a given. But no, I truly hope that the people that are listening to today's episode or watching it on YouTube can take just one little thing from what you've said, because you are super motivating, and what you've been able to do. I mean, you're a real life G.I. Joe in my opinion, but you're also a motivational speaker. You're somebody that, if I had a son, I hope that he would grow up to be a Tim Kennedy, and that's God's honest truth. Yeah. And I think what you're doing for this country, what you've already done for this country, man, we thank you for that.
I'm not good at like positive things, like call me stupid at the end of this or something.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
We usually wait till you leave.
Yeah, we'll wait till you leave. Like,
Thank you.
that
Believe
dude,
that,
man.
yeah. Believe what all that crap he
freaking
said.
over. Oh, look at him! I've done all these cool things. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. I'm not smart enough to do anything else, so I'm just gonna keep towing this line until like we pull something out that's meaningful.
But we need you to do that.
Good. Because
Absolutely.
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. I mean, this society needs it. And I hope that somebody out there is listening to this and it gives them the encouragement to wake up tomorrow or start today, start right now to be 1% better.
That's right. Let's go.
Next time you see me,
You come and work out with us tomorrow.
Tyler needs me at 9-1. I've got to get back. He needs me for something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Till that dude, I said, hey.
The last, okay, we'll end on this story here. Tim calls Tyler about something. I'm in the car. It's pouring down rain in Savannah. Tyler's getting on a plane to go somewhere. I don't know where he's going. We're in Tyler's Land Rover. Tyler doesn't know how to turn the windshield wipers on his Land Rover.
But he can fly a helicopter.
He's on his phone. His knee is driving, and it's pouring down rain. Tim calls him. He can't figure out how to get the phone to connect to the Land Rover. So he's on the phone. He puts Tim on speaker. Tim's like, hey, man, I need your help with this, this, and this.
Oh, I
And
remember this call.
Tyler's like driving 90 miles an hour.
Was this Ukraine?
I think it's it might have been Ukraine or it may have been Gaza. It may have been what's going on. It might have been Ukraine. It's been.
I called him for both.
Yeah, I think I think it was the most recent issue, and yeah, so it was pretty funny. And I'm in the passenger seat, thinking, will you please just pull over? I was like, I'll drive. And let's figure out how to turn the windshield wipers on. Defrost wasn't working either or something. He couldn't figure out the defrost.
That helps
all
too.
this stuff. And then this one's calling him to, hey, air support or whatever for something.
It's usually along the age like, I need a plane here to do this thing. I needed to have war insurance so it's allowed to land. And it has to be able to pick up this amount of either people or stuff. It's usually the arc of the call when I call Tyler.
Tyler can't figure out the defrost on his Land Rover, but he can coordinate all of
All
those
the other
things for
things he can
Tim.
make, without even thinking, right?
Yeah, which makes their brains are.
We all have our own form of tism.
Yes, absolutely. And but man, you're a great American. You're a hero, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
And
No, you're busy. Obviously, you're busy. I really appreciate you carving out time to come.
Dude, you
talk
called.
with
I
us.
said, yeah, let's go.
I really do. It really means a lot to us. And like I said, like Matt already said, if somebody can take 1% away from what you said today, we win.
yeah,
We win.
we
So,
really appreciate it, man. And
Appreciate you guys.
we appreciate our sponsors: Happy Dad, WileyX, First Form, Ridge Wallets.
Those are all good people right there.
Yeah, they're all good people.
we got them fooled right now.
Yeah, they have no idea what we're doing, but we'll figure it out. Man, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you, and dude, come back anytime.
All righty, let's
All
go.
right.